Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Stellaris, The Return. I'm your host, Fade. It's episode 24. It's the year 2425. Do have an awakened empire up here, which is a bit concerning, but they haven't decided to go nuts just yet. Which is the good news. We are in breach of galactic law for 10 years for killing the T-Yankee over here. So we have to get... But since we've done that, we need to get everybody over here surveying. And our science ships are on the way, assisting in cloaking detection. Well, we don't really need to do that. Get over here and survey. We have to make this happen. So we have all of our constructors headed over in this direction. We might as well grab all this space now that we're here. Somebody closed their doors to us. We have available leaders. Somebody grabbed a new trait, Reth. Undol, our commander. Ship weapon damage or defensive platform damage. It's got a bunch of new traits here. Ship weapon damage plus 15%. Now you get explosive weapon fire damage or military fleet effects. Armor hardening. I like that. Let's do armor hardening, and then he gets one more. Sublight speed. Leader upkeep. For every enemy ship destroyed, energy credits. Sure. There we go. Moving to the BOI system. Okay. Yeah, so our job. Get these fleets upgraded and filled out. And keep making room for more fleets. Because the day is going to come when we're going to need him. Head of research. She can grab statistician now. That's nice. And he can grab something. What is he? He's a scientist. Moving to the impan system, so you can give him research speed. If he's a counselor or astral rift skill, let's do that.
We've constructed something.
He's not likely to become a counselor, so we still have these guys over here. We grabbed all this space. Might as well grab that one too. And there's an archaeology site here and a shroud tunnel. Regenerating flagella, the dissection of the T-Yankee matriarch. Even with our xenocontamination precautions, something went wrong. As the matriarch's flagella entered Ponel Prime's capital, it somehow got in contact with one of the handlers, and instantly the flagella started reacting. Pulsating, ripping appendages began growing from the trophy, first forming an indistinct churning mass of flesh. Over time, it became more detailed, and to our surprise, it assumed the shape of the unfortunate handler. Seems like the regenerative powers of the matriarch have accepted the DNA of our kind and are now in the process of generating more Alari. Use this to feed the onlookers. This will increase the amount of unity the opportunity will produce. Let the reaction run its course. Let the reaction run its course. Let's see what happens. Shall we? And then we have unspent trait points. The Zern have 2 unspent trait points. Okay. The Zern, well, they'd be way down there at the bottom then. The Zern. They should be at the bottom, but they're not. Okay. Panuri superiors. That's interesting. One of them adapted to tropical. That's kind of cool. Not enough trade points. What about these guys? Here we go. Get rid of that harmful trait. Don't want them to be noxious. Worker resource output. So if we create that template, and apply it to everybody who's in a cold faction. Well, we can't get it to everybody. So this is cannot apply the following selected template because the following traits cannot be removed. Interesting. Okay. You want to do that to everybody else who's currently cold, but not the tropical ones. They're on a tropical world.
New job in the situation log.
Research 6 months. Alright, so I don't know how we're going to get to the Zuri ones. Archaeological site event pending the library. We've discovered clear signs that this planet was once densely populated. However, whatever destroyed their civilization did a very thorough job of it. Very few useful remains have been found. Our scanners have detected several large cavities deep below the surface that may once have supported life. Perhaps we will have more luck there. Maybe. First Armada. Upgrade. Pirate Armada. Upgrade. Relic activation now available. Astral Action says Physics Insight. Create an astral rift. Sure. Why not? Why not? The second Armada can be upgraded. So what do we have going on down here? And this is where our constructor ships are still on the move. Okay. Let's take a look at our planets then. You're upgrading. You need a bunch of people.
Species upgrade patch complete.
Species upgrade patch complete. Yeah, so the Zum. Yeah, but we didn't find the Zum anywhere. I mean, it's alphabetical. Where are the Zum? You'd think they'd be at the end, but they're not there. The Yanari, still making a few of these stragglers. The Visari. So is there anything we can do about them? Nope. Yeah, and then there's these guys, the Vern. The Vem, not Vern. What about this one? Yeah, we can modify to take some of those traits away, but not all of them. So why can't we do that? There's not enough. Cannot remove this trait requires the integrated autonomy tradition. Oh, so some of this stuff is locked behind traditions.
We've constructed something game-changing.
If you can't do all of it, the dissection of the Yankee make to I want to make this point. Except I got to remember where they are. What I'm looking at here. Situation log, government, society management, right here. So if from your ascension perk, if you're going to take engineered evolution, and then you still can't engineer your species, I feel like this is no longer a priority for me. Like, I don't want to do engineered evolution anymore. I wouldn't take this as a pick. Because they've made it more complicated. And they've hidden many other things that you can do to a species behind traditions and other technological things and government agendas and all this stuff. And so you're picking this. I keep forgetting what, yeah, you're picking this. You're picking engineered evolution, but you're not getting access to everything. So why bother? I don't know if the rest of the Ascension perks are like that. Yeah, I don't know. Because I'm looking through the rest of these. The flesh is weak. Cybernetics, synthetic evolution, mind over matter for psionics. I'm feeling like any of these other ones would be better if they don't have the same problems. Now, I don't know. So maybe those of you watching, you've been playing and you know, maybe when it comes to the flesh is weak and synthetic evolution and mind over matter, they have the same problems. You don't get access to everything for picking this Ascension perk. But me personally, if I would have been in the design discussions around this and them saying, oh yeah, after you get engineered evolution, you're still going to be neutered. You're still not going to be able to change very much about your species. You can only change one or two things instead of all of them. You can't get rid of these negative traits. I would have put the kibosh right on that. I'd have said, nope. If they're going to go to all the trouble to go through here and pick a tradition and empty out the tree and then finally get to pick an Ascension perk, give them the benefits of the Ascension perk. Because some of that stuff is already hidden behind research. But now you want to take more of it and hide it behind more doors? That just feels convoluted in an unfun and unrewarding way. I guess that's the most important thing. That's the point I would like to drive home, is it feels really unrewarding now. It's like, oh, I picked this thing, but you don't get any of the benefits. You know, it in a way, it feels analogous to all of the looter shooters that have become gacha games, where every online game now is about microtransactions. It's like, oh, you got the game. You bought the game, but everything is locked behind microtransactions. So in essence, you didn't really get the game. You got a very basic part of the game. And when you pick engineered evolution, you get a very basic part of engineered evolution. But the things that I want engineered evolution for, which is to get rid of negative traits, mostly, you still can't do it. So I don't see the point to this now. I'll never pick that trait again. That has turned into a waste of time. All right. A bright day greeted the packed crowds on Ponel Prime today as the procession carrying our proof of the destruction of the Tianki matriarch traveled through the planet cities. The parade's progress was broadcast throughout our empire to billions of viewers. The matriarch's flagella already seems to have become a staple of Alarian culture, inspiring artists and creators across the autocracy of Alaria. After finishing the world tour, the matriarch's flagella was placed in a specialized display at the center of the capital to inspire generations to come. Today was a good day for Alaria. Monthly organic pop assembly +1. Unity. Okay. And speaking of traditions, we have a new one to select. The last one here, survival of the fittest, which is going to grant us bombardment damage and defense army damage. Nice. What happened over here? This event. Archaeological site pending. The library. Our excavation of the cave system on Rim 7A has found well-preserved remnants of an underground, high-technology society. Built on a vast scale, many of the ruins are in surprisingly good condition, and we have managed to find what our researchers are describing as a library of encrypted data crystals. Hopefully these can shed some light on what happened here. Okay. So, let's go back to society management. We did that. We got an ascension perk. So what do we want to take here? Galactic weather control? Oh, wow. Xenocompatibility. Gives you immigration pull. The Archaeology Project. You can turn things into an ecumenopolis. Shared destiny. Wait a minute. So, master builders. What do we need here? It requires mega engineering technology. Yes. Technological ascendancy. Galactic contender gives us diplomatic weight. And damage to fallen empires. Yeah, we're going to want that. And Defender of the Galaxy. So Defender of the Galaxy, I usually feel like I have to take on the Crisis. Galactic Contender if we need it for Fallen Empires. And then we always want Master Builders and Galactic Wonders. So that's like the last 4. So I'm going to save this because we might get the tech for Galactic Wonders soon. And that would be cool. What's going on here? What do you want to do with these? Let's go. It's a habitat and you can't have a ton of people here, but you can have some. It's got 10 jobs and 27 housing. So let's do this with these. Let's add. This one's doing research, of course. That's obvious. It's a research station. A resolution has been passed. Moderate economic sanctions. Boo. I haven't really spent any time this time trying to deal with this and trade with everybody for favors to pass or unpass things. So repeal the Yankee Conservation Act. That would be nice, but that's not going to get it. The Guardian Angels Act, diplomatic weight from fleet power. We will oppose that. Senate is in recess for 500 days. We may want to go through there though and try to do some trades. We have things to trade and we've been investing money
Time for some new
things. We've been going investing in things like liquid metal and dark matter. So
this system's secrets are ours.
It may be a wise thing to do here. All right, what do we have for you? Elegate Insights, Habitat Central Complex, Major Minor Orbitals. That may be the key to getting us. This may lead us further down the line to get us the big structures. I'm not 100% sure. It's not like I remember the tree very well. All right, so what are we doing with you? You're building. Okay, you're already building. That's great. You guys are moving and building. And now it's just about all these have jobs. The new Mystic Order, show us your wares. What do you got? A skill 3 official. No, I don't need any of those guys right now. Let's see. We can have more research here on this planet. That'd be fun. I gotta find some unemployed pops here. I hate that these are the same color. This guy right here, you can see migrating pops. This planet has unemployed pops that will automatically migrate to other planets. And it's orange, and this is orange. And so,
job complete.
Even on a big monitor, which is really close to my face, this looks almost like the same thing because it looks like almost the same shape. So it's hard for me to see the difference here.
This system's secrets are ours.
So what do we have here for features? Why are some of these still blocked? That's the part I don't get. It's still showing blockers. Weird. Okay. Weird. Okay, you, my friend, what did you do? You built a mega structure. You built this. Dyson Swarm Constellation. Star output. Monthly upkeep. Oh. I don't necessarily want to do that. An array of interlinked satellites. The Dyson Swarm is designed to improve the output of stellar deposits. Is that worth it? What are the stellar deposits here? So we're getting 32 for an upkeep of 5. I would assume then that for an upkeep of 10, we're going to get even more. So we'll do that. That's cool. I can handle that.
New augments research. Strap in.
New cancel agenda. No, who went to work? The Orbis Customer Synergies and the Ranzaran League. Okay, we can exploit that resource now. That's good. Plasma cannons. Experimental subspace navigation. Shoot for that. We can launch this, which is specialist pop resource output. Engineered evolution, tech progress, target gene expressions. Let's do that. Build mining and build research. Same there. Build mining there, which is what we really wanted. Said build that. Oh, you're the science ship. Okay. There should be a new astral rift for you somewhere. Somewhere we can find it from here. Where's this one at? Right there. Okay. Science ship. Why don't you go over here and explore that astral rift?
That upgrade was well worth the alloys.
So the library, a team member exploring the ruins on this planet, recently disappeared. After a short search, we found a skeleton that seems to have belonged to an Alari. Our researchers are in no doubt that these remains are what's left of our missing team member, but they are baffled about how the body decayed quite this quickly. They urge caution as we continue our investigation. Yeah, I would urge caution as well. There's another astral rift here. In this system, so we can send the scientist, the backup, to do that one. Anyone home? Where's that one at? Oh, that's not ours yet. Okay. Alrighty. What about this other astral rift then? And that's in our system. Okay. That scientist can go to... We're going to have all kinds of astral rift notifications, aren't we? Like real quick right up front.
Game-changing upgrades.
Senate is now in session. What does the Senate floor look like? For the Guardian Angels Act. Okay. So we're looking at the Orbis customer signatories. They really like us. They're against the Galactic Merchant Coalition. Okay. Diplomacy. Offer a trade deal.
We can trade.
Resources, 0. But I want... Do you not trade for... Can you not trade for this stuff anymore? Communications, active sensor link. I don't care about that. You used to be able to trade for what do they call these things? Favors. We're not able to call in favors because we have no favors available. You used to be able to trade for them. Can you not trade for them anymore? How else would you get them? Can I trade with somebody else? Nation of Torfer Star. Trade actions, pledge loyalty, borrow fleet, transfer system, information, loyalty, resources. 0, all this stuff. These are just straight up resources. Okay, somebody else. The Ubuzian Mandate. What'll you give us on the trade deal? Transfer system. we have a commercial pact with them, and a migration treaty, and a research agreement, and we have an embassy, and we can't trade for favors. There's no way to trade for a favor. Active sensor link. Transfer systems. Wow. Really? You can't trade for favors anymore? And so what I have learned is you have to invest in diplomacy. The diplomacy tree to get favors. And you have to assign an envoy to improve relations. And over time, they will collect favors that way. There's no more trading for favors. Which a favor is, it seems logical that you should be able to trade for them. And that system worked, but now the only way to engage in this, because if you don't have favors, then this is just like it has been for me for the last 23 episodes. It's just a very passive thing. The government of the galaxy goes on without you, and all you can do is give your meager diplomatic weight to one thing or the other, but it's not going to make a difference because it's not going to make enough. Like, you can't have an impact if you don't have favors. So it's a very passive thing. It's going to happen without you. And now you have to actually invest in a whole diplomatic tree and envoys to get favors to engage in this mechanism in the game, when a favor logically should be something that you should be able to get from trading. Because from a pure logic standpoint, the old way of doing this made sense. It was like, hey, I'll give you a bunch of food. You going to give me a few favors? Yeah, sure. Okay. You can, I mean, that's politics, right? That's how politics works. I'll give you something, you give me something. And then when this vote comes up, you'll vote my way, right? Yeah, sure. But they decided to remove that and lock it behind a whole entire tradition. I'm sorry, Paradox. You just keep making bad decisions with your game. I honestly can't believe this. I was wondering what they would mess up next. And to take something like this and do this to it. Oh my God, who designs this game? Who are these people? Why do they keep throwing logic out the window? It feels like they're trying to build a Jenga puzzle and they just don't care if something makes sense or not. Like, the puzzle pieces have to go like this. So I don't care if it makes sense. It's just the silliest thing. It's so silly. Jeez. The complaint that players had about playing wide was that they didn't like the micromanagement of having to manage all these different planets. They're like, oh, it makes the game too complicated. There's too much micromanagement in the game. But now the designers have locked so much of the game behind traditions and government things and all sorts of other like, you feel like you're in that. Remember that spinning room in Fallout 4 when you're in Nuka World and there's all these different doors and behind every single door is something different? That's what the game feels like now. Like, you're in a room and it's spinning and there's 20 doors, and to do the thing that you want to do, you're going to have to pick 2 or 3 doors to open before you can do the thing. It was so much more of a straightforward game before, and now it's just not. Can't say I like it. This I like. What they did with leaders, I will go on record as saying I like what they've done with leaders. Whoever came up with this, good. I mean, I miss having individual leaders for the individual science branches. I still think that was a mistake to change away from that, because that was the cool part of trying to find leaders who had a bonus to physics and they were genius, and maybe they had psionic later on in the game, and you were trying to get as many bonuses as possible. And if you didn't take the time to grab the better leaders and train them up over time, then you were going to fall behind in research, and that's your own fault. But what they've done with the complexity of the game by essentially hiding so many features behind other mechanisms, it makes it feel really unrewarding, because what it makes it feel like is you get a shiny new toy, but you can't do it. It's like a role-playing game, like Cyberpunk or Witcher 3 or something. You get a new point to invest in your character, and you're like, oh, yay. Now, if I invest my point in this skill, I'll get this really cool spinning attack with this sword, only you invest the point and you still can't do the thing. And it's like, well, you actually need to invest 3 more points in this whole tree before you get that attack. And you're like, what? It says right on it, if I do this, I get the spinning attack. Nope, you don't. You know what I'm saying? It's like here is an ascension perk for you to engineer your species, but not really. We're not going to give you access to the whole thing. We're going to hide the rest of it. We're going to hide many of the features of this ascension perk behind a whole bunch of other closed doors. And now comes diplomacy. I want some favors. Well, I'm sorry. Unless you take a whole entire tradition tree. Unless you take a whole entire tradition tree, dedicated diplomacy, and assign an envoy to that particular species that you want favors from, and just wait for the favors to roll in over time, then you'll get some favors. That doesn't feel fun. That's not fun. You missed the boat on that one, Paradox. Oh, there's the repeatables right there. That's nice. Yeah, I'm not impressed with that change at all. Let's build that. Also, really honest to God, they need to change the colors over here. Because this right here is an unemployed pop, and this is, what's it say? Building slots available. It's the same color and it's the same rectangular shape. I literally can't tell the difference between that. So all of those are unemployed pops. That's just, guys, come on. Change the color, because there's also the red brick that shows up. Why does this keep doing this? Stop going too slow. I'm not pressing this button. It says hotkey minus or shift down arrow, and I'm not touching either one of those keys, and it keeps going too slow.
We've constructed something game
I don't understand what's happening there. We've constructed something game changing. Yes, well, we'll see how game changing it is. This is going to sound like the episode of me doing nothing but bitching. So I get it if people get upset. But I am always going to give my take on this game because they change it so often. which again, in my opinion, is kind of the flaw of 4X gaming. This is the one thing about this genre of gaming that I don't like, is that they frequently change these games and they so often do it in a way that doesn't make the game more fun. And this happened with Galactic Civilizations 3. I'm certain it would happen with Galactic Civilizations 4, but I'm not going to play that. Stardock's stance on the use of AI in gaming is unconscionable. So screw those guys. But Paradox does the same thing, and that's always my concern.
These contacts aren't your standard users.
Always my concern with 4X games is if I start playing this game, and Alliance of the Sacred Sons is going to be, well, no, that's not the game. I gotta remember the game now. It is Alliance of the Sacred Sons is the one I'm thinking about. That is the 4X I'm most looking forward to playing. It's supposed to come out next year. We'll see. There's also another one called Fragile Existence that looks kind of promising. And my concern with starting any of these other 4X games is going to be how much they change over time. And do they go from being fun to unfun or feeling unrewarding because of the way they change the mechanics over time? It just seems to be a thing that 4X developers can't help themselves with. Like they have to keep tweaking the game. And where I'm just like, just fix bugs and make the experience better. But if something is rewarding, don't take that away from the players. I think the developers for Baldur's Gate 3, Larian, had the right idea. When the players figured out something that was fun, and sometimes people would label it as an exploit, and Larian's CEO was like, no, let them have it. It's fun. Like using the owlbear to jump down and kill Grim. I've never done it because I like the challenge of fighting Grim normally, but other people are like, this is too hard. I'm just going to use the owlbear, jump down and kill him. Okay. They could have patched that out of the game real easy and said, yeah, we're not going to allow that. But they didn't. They said, no, that's fun. So let them have that. Here, we used to be able to just make trades and get favors so we could engage in this diplomacy part and kind of help manipulate the politics in our favor. And you had to do the work of actually making the trades and having things to trade and thinking, which resource do I want to trade? And I don't really want to give this away. And there was a tension in the past for me thinking, well, I don't want to give away all my resources. And I certainly don't want to give away X, Y, and Z. Sometimes you're thinking, okay, I'll give something that I don't want to give because I still don't have enough votes. I don't have enough favors to conjure enough votes to push it over the line. So there was a really fun give and take there. And I felt like there was an element of strategy to it, or at least effort involved. And now they've just taken it and hidden it behind a bunch of closed doors. So I'm not for this kind of game design where developers create something that's kind of fun and then change it and make it less fun and less rewarding. I much prefer the Larian way of doing things. I don't think the way they changed this was necessary, because now it just makes me want to do the same. Let me see if I could phrase this correctly. How I feel playing a video game is really important to me. Am I having a really good time? That's how I like to approach video games. If I'm having a really good time, I want to keep playing them. And what has happened with like this change and with the genetic change over here to what they've done to Engineered Evolution, where they're taking huge chunks of these features and hiding them behind other doors, what it makes me want to do is not engage with that part of the game at all, because it's just not fun now. It feels tedious and unrewarding. And the tedium is I've got to open up all these other doors. I've got to keep going and opening up all these other doors because this feature doesn't do what's advertised. It's like I bought the game, but there's still a whole bunch of microtransactions to make my character look like it did in the advertisement. So I'm not thrilled about these changes. Not thrilled at all. It really feels like a step backwards to me. So that's going to be
We've constructed something game-changing.
my assessment that I'm sure
We've
Paradox
constructed something game-changing.
doesn't give two shits about. I'm absolutely certain about that. And I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of players that argue with me and be like, I like the added complexity, and good for you. But I can only respond to video games the way they make me feel. And if they make me feel like it's unrewarding, or I feel like I'm being blocked from features that I purchased. I purchased this Ascension perk. It doesn't work anymore. You know, all the features are locked behind something else. The galactic community exists, but you still have to jump through 3 more hoops to be able to engage in it properly. That, I hope people can kind of understand where I'm coming from on that. I think my opinion about 4X games is there's a lot of natural complexity inherent in these games anyway, and they are a barrier to entry for a lot of players. And I've talked to so many other players who like 4X games who'll say the same thing. When a new 4X game comes out, they really feel like there's a barrier to entry just based on the natural complexity of playing a 4X game. So I feel like anytime you can simplify it a little bit, you're gonna reach a wider audience. And taking features and locking huge chunks of those features behind other doors, it's not necessarily that it adds to the complexity. It kind of does. But it creates a situation where it's not as straightforward as it looks. And I think that's always going to be a turnoff to a huge segment of players. But mostly it's just the way it feels. It feels unrewarding. And that's the best word I can come up with right now, is it doesn't feel very rewarding to play. Bleached planet. We have entered the atmosphere of a continental world. The planet looks potentially habitable. However, the terrain and the foliage have significant discoloration.
We've constructed something game-changing.
It is as if the surface and everything on it has been bleached white. It's probably the bunghole of a giant space body that got bleached. Despite the obvious presence of flora, onboard sensors indicate no signs of life. A thorough analysis of the planet's ecosystem will require a direct biological survey. We have located a potential landing site. Okay.
We've constructed something game-changing.
Have you now? So, there's Astrorift. Who's going to war? The Buthrian Collective and the Ronzurian League.
That upgrade was well worth the alloys.
The Vortex. We have arrived inside a violent whirlwind. Our viewing windows are completely obscured with rippling waves of an unknown gaseous fluid. We have been able to take a minor sample of the atmosphere, but each analysis comes back wildly different from the last. We are not sure if our instruments are in error, or if there is something inherently volatile about the material itself. Our rift sphere is being whipped around with such intensity that several of the crew are becoming uncomfortable. The one constant property we have found of the sample is that it contains an abnormally large amount of astral materials. Incidentally, we have noticed that small changes in temperature are affecting its contents greatly. We are placing it inside of an insulated container until we can study this phenomena further. Okay. Expose sample to flame. Oh boy, yeah. Proceed further. What about you, buddy? Build starbases. And migration treaty proposal between those two people. A strongly worded letter. Envoys from the galactic community have compiled a list of articles that the autocracy of Alaria are in violation of and warn of possible consequences should we not make ourselves in alignment with galactic law. Yeah, okay. Bring us in compliance. How would we do that? How would we do that? We killed a Yankee. I don't exactly know how we would do that. Send your strongly worded letters. Try your very best. AH4 HP. So can you actually get... You can't add ships to you. That's too bad. He's a renowned commander. So here's another thing. You want to talk about changes to the game. Here is a change that I would make. We got this commander. He's stuck on the ship and we can't create a fleet with it. Override the fleet template. We can't do anything with it. We can't add any ships and we can't create a fleet with him. Why not? Why this restriction? I've never understood this. This has existed for as long as this game has been out. Just now, this guy is a leader now, which is cool, and he's got a bunch of cool skills. But why can't we just assign him to be the leader of a fleet? Why can't we assign this ship to be part of a fleet? Now we have to move it around separately? It's just confounding how Paradox thinks about their own game. I've said this before in past video series, but I really feel like they don't play their own game. Like, I feel my sense of it is that all the developers for Paradox, all they do is read the forums, but they don't actually play the game. Because if you played the game, you'd get a sense for how it really feels, and you'd say, whoa, maybe we should consider changing that part of it, because this doesn't feel rewarding. You're going to give me this super awesome commander, and you're going to put him on a little dinky ship, on a battleship, and then you're going to say, yeah, but don't build a fleet around him. What? Hello? McFly? Is your brain attached anywhere? What is this? Cloaked fleets discovered. Okay. Kadam. Empire-wide scandal. Karam is at the center of a major scandal reverberating throughout the Empire. There are numerous reports of aberrant behavior, embezzlement, and cover-ups. This has led many to question the competence of those in authority. The effects on the public mood will undoubtedly be felt for years to come. Many believe that the only way to restore faith in the system is for Karam to step down and face prosecution. Dismiss this leader. Empire-wide scandal. An unfortunate accusation. Okay. You're gone, Karam. Now I have to find a master craft person. Well, we got this renowned official. What's he doing? He's governing or he's free? He's free, eh? He's available. Okay. Well, let's hope you, Veiled One, can do a better job. What is costing me so much money? Is it because we're in breach of galactic law and so we're getting penalized through that? Energy credits. Because we have trade. We're not getting piracy anywhere. And my fleets are... What are you doing? You're still being upgraded? Yeah. You're still being upgraded. You have an aggressive stance somewhere. Okay.
We've constructed something game-changing.
You keep saying that. We're going to finish building a
We've
few
constructed
things.
something game-changing.
And then we will finish the bitch episode. Women have resting bitch face, and Colors Fade has Stellaris bitch voice. It's just the way it is. Overall, I've still had fun with the game, and I'm glad that I've done this series, and I very much do want to do a series where you all take some polls and design a species for me to play. I just think that'd be hilarious. That's why I want to do it, because I think it'll be funny. But my same issues with this game still exist, and that is I have this sense that Paradox's team don't play their own game, because I feel like so many of the things that irk me about the game would be changed if they just played it. It really feels to me, and I get the sense that all they do is read the forums. So I would like them to spend more time playing the game and really listening to their own mind and body. How do they feel when they play it? Because some of this stuff just is not rewarding. Okay, what do we have here? Mechanical modification points. We haven't modified our robots in a while. We should probably consider doing that. Crystalline forge plating. Okay. You know what? We're going to leave it there. We got astral rifts and archaeological sites and all kinds of things. So I'm going to leave it there. That'll be the end of the bitch session episode. In fact, I might even title it that way so people can just skip this episode if they don't want to hear me complaining about design stuff. And if they don't want to hear my take on things. Because I love to talk about video game design. And it might sound like nothing but bitching to people. But to me, it's just analysis. And I have to be honest. And sometimes honesty is going to sound like bitching. But I really like talking about this stuff because I think there is a parallel universe. And I know some of you know this. You believe this. There is a parallel universe where there is a better version of Stellaris. Where the developers play their game and feel the same thing I'm feeling and say, yeah, that's not rewarding to do it that way. We're going to change it. There's a better version of this game. And I think that's the frustrating part for me over the years of playing Stellaris is the game looks great, but they do stuff like this. They do this. But what is this huge piece of art over here compared to this? Why isn't this screen bigger so that we can see this fantastic art? Why can't we have bigger, this screen be bigger so we can see this wonderful art? They have wonderful artists that work on this game. But the art is, how much screen real estate is this on my whole screen? What is this? It's less than 10%. Why not make this bigger and give us bigger font? So that we can more easily read this stuff. It's simple design decisions like that you know there's a better version of this game. That there could be a better version of this game. And they just won't do it. Because somehow in Paradox's leadership, high up the chain, in the directors for this video game, you have people in charge who probably shouldn't be in charge. Somebody else on that team needs to be in charge of this product. Because if you could get a better person in charge, you could get a better version of this game. And that's the part that's frustrating, is knowing that there is a better version of this game. There could be a better version of this game. This is a game that doesn't live up to its potential, and it has so much potential. It's so far and away the best Space 4X out there right now, and I don't think anything's going to rival it. I'm really looking forward to playing Alliance of the Sacred Sons, but even I don't think that is going to be the Stellaris killer. I hope it is. I hope it's more fun to play than this one. But they've worked on this game for so long, and they have so many systems in play, and the icons and everything, it looks good. Once you get used to playing it, you can recognize everything immediately. But they just have some wonky ideas about how to design this game. And they keep making wonky decisions that end up with unfulfilling gameplay. So, folks, I'll see you next time. Have fun. Skip ahead to the next episode if you want. I will try to complain less from here on out, but no promises. Happy gaming, everyone.